going to learn that. You're going to learn it at the hands of the government. They've been very good here with all the entertainment and fun, having it going on right under the surface, but now it's coming up, and they tell us torture's good, and torture's admissible in court. They torture people 6, 7, 8 years, and now they have hearings with them. Admissible in court. See, we are becoming pure evil. Here it is. Continue.
5, he was sent to school in the mornings. They taught him to read and write, to add and subtract. The teachers were guards with pistols and sticks to beat the little ones.
Hit pause. All over the United States, they're turning elementary and middle schools into giant federally funded boot camp military schools. The Boy Scouts are being taken over in every major city, and the Explorer Scouts by the police and Homeland Security, training to take on, quote, veterans and gun owners, New York Times. But they say that's good. I mean, folks, they're actually setting this up. This is the scientific dictatorship. Continue.
One day he witnessed a teacher beating a little girl on the head so hard that she died the next day. In the afternoon, the 5-year-old was sent to the mountains to do hard labor. The only positive thing about that was that it was possible to catch mice, rats, worms and snakes for the eternally hungry stomachs. Friendship and closeness didn't exist. Everyone was on his own. Everybody else could be an informer.
Our society was constructed in a way so that my mother was supposed to inform on me and I would inform on her.
Hit pause again. Hit pause. In Austin, they put TV ads on. I've got a clip of it in Fall of the Republic where they say $200 to report on your neighbors or family, passing them out to the kids. And the cops are like, this is how we stop crime. But we know everywhere else, Germany, North Korea, we know it's bad. We know Pol Pot, our own government-funded Pol Pot. We know it's evil, folks. But they've got, and the guards and police get in this psychopathic power trip. Now they taser you if you don't get in line right away. Here it is.
Jim was taken from his mother. He was placed in a dormitory and supposed to attend secondary school.
From 12 years on, it was nothing but work. But they called it secondary school. There was no reading or stuff like that.
It would be 2 years before he was to see his mother and an unknown brother again. But before that, he was suddenly dragged out from the dormitory by guards, thrown into an isolation cell, and subjected to unspeakable torture.
Good pause. Notice there was an older brother he'd never met that had been kept in another slave pit. See, it's about breaking the family down to where one time you're put in a cell with a woman to get her pregnant. You don't know your brother. And, I mean, this is pure boot stomping on the human face forever. This is 1984. This is what you're going to live under. Do you understand? Unless you say no. Continue. Cutting his fingers off. Putting a giant hook through him. Over fire.
His mother and brother had attempted to escape. The idea was to get the 14-year-old boy to reveal if he knew anything about the attempt. But he knew nothing and couldn't tell anything. The torture went on for 7 months. One day, it was the 29th of October 1996, Shin was dragged out to an open square and placed in the first row of the prisoners there. He thought he was about to be executed. But then they brought out his mother and his brother.
I think it is better we skip this part.
The brother was shot. The mother hung. She was tied up and gagged, but just before she died, she looked directly at him. He avoided her eyes. From then on, a miserable life was transformed to daily naked horror.
After the death of my mother, I had an incredible hard time. I was beaten every day. I almost died.
The other children attacked him. "Your life is lost," they yelled and laughed. They stole his food, and all the time he hated his mother and brother for what they had done.
I blame them a lot. It's hard to express.
그냥 엄마.
But it was a good thing that they died.
엄마하고 형하고 많이 원망했어요. 어떻게 보면은 엄마하고 형이 죽기 잘했다. 그때는 그렇게 생각했어요.
After all they had committed a crime.
That's like the average American defending the government, defending the police, defending torture, defending killing 1 million Iraqis. You are just like him now. Years after he escaped through the electrical barbed wire fence, incredible, just whole backs of his legs burned off, just molten scars. Remember that. He still defends them because that's the mind control. He loves O'Brien. He loves Big Brother. He's been to the Chestnut Inn. Go back to it.
Years went by. Shin was teamed up with a guy who had lived outside the wire. He told the boy about Kim Jong-il and his father Kim Il-sung, and about the fact that a world existed out there where there was endless amount of food every day.
The food made me escape. Even if it was going to cost me my life, the only thing that interested me was the food.
All right, stop there. BBC reports, I've had top British government people on, remember a few years ago, that you're going to have a ration card for how much food you can have. That's the carbon tax. You're all going to live like that. That's been announced. They're going to phase it in incrementally. We already have more people in prison than any other country in the world. It's over. Unless we say no to these people. I'm going to skip this final break. It's a network break, so stations are playing ads over it. They're really not supposed to, whatever. It's not even that a lot of stations sit there and play ads over our breaks. It's that then when we do skip a network break, you don't hear what I have to say, even though it's our time. But we're going to break here in a moment, except for network break. I'm going to go ahead and go to calls. That's only part of it. You can go watch the rest of it. It gets even worse. And that's what we fight. That's what we're up against. What did Ted Bundy do? He went and chained women down for months and tortured them. What does every psycho do? This is beautiful to them. When psychopaths get control of your government, that's what's set up. Doesn't matter if it's in Asia, Europe, Latin America, that's what happens. As for me, I'm going to try to peaceably beat these people. I'm going to try to peaceably wake up as many as I can. And I will die on my feet instead of on my knees. I'll tell you that right now. So I'm not going to a work camp. You're not going to have some guard sitting there putting hooks through me. I mean, they may grab me off the street and get away with that. And the point is, I'm going to, and I know that's tyranny, that's terrorism to say I'm not going to be sent to a death camp. The average American's like, you must go to death camp if government says. Government is God. See, you have been brought into this. It's over for some of you. I mean, your mind's far gone. You're so scared of the tyranny that you decide, like the Stockholm Syndrome, to serve it. You're like the Austin police. You know, they'll shut things down illegal, and they don't care. First they said they didn't do it. Now they're saying, oh, we did for your own safety. So what? No law, we just did it. And that's how you become like Fidel Castro. Lisa in New York, thanks for holding her on the air.
Hi, Alex. I was just wondering, is this how the Meticular Consular, I live in New York, is this how they get illegal aliens to just drive around? I've always wondered about that.
No. Yeah, no, ma'am, it's the biggest issue, and Republicans never talk about it because it's all staged. They want amnesty, too. They are all above the law. They get rental. The Patriot Act doesn't apply to them. Nothing applies to them. They get taxi licenses, everything with nothing. Ma'am, they're allowed to drunk drive where I live. Sheriffs all the time arrest carloads of illegals, and the feds actually hire them on the spot and go give them government jobs. That's Wall Street Journal.
Okay, and this illegal alien amnesty, how will we know that they're implementing it? What should we look for?
They're going to call it fixing immigration. They've already tried. But when you get the bill, like the last 3 tries in the last 5 years, it's total, complete legalization, just completely open borders, total capitulation. Then we're issued a North American Union ID card. They're already issuing it. Have you seen the TV ads for the North American Hemisphere ID? They're already issuing it all. It's just total lawlessness, totally criminal government. Mm-hmm.
what do we do about it? I mean, what can I do?
Well, we are the North Korean slaves. We are the milk hog. And so to further hurt us and further get us bankrupted so the government can really have its way with us and then take your children if you're poor, that's the real official plan. They've got to hoard in as many illegals as they can to drive down the wages and further implode and get everybody in debt who is in the system trying to pay the taxes that can't keep up. More taxes to crush you, more illegals to drive down wages. And then most importantly, then the illegals, second generation, are made the police chiefs and the commanders everywhere. And then they will rule us because they come from authoritarian regimes. And then they will pull the lever to take our guns and property. And then they will be the prison camp guards.
Okay, and
that's the plan. I mean, it's an absolute New World Order banking plan. I mean, they want you in a box just like that guy stated.